From the KDLM studios, it's time for Hodge Podge, presented by Partnership for Health and airing on Lakes TV3.
Good morning. Welcome into Hodge Podge. It is a Friday. Today is June 11th. Just went out and checked the old rain gauge. 0.7 of an ounce of precip so far here this morning, and we still have a light rain falling as we speak. We'll update the weather for you. Coming up today during our break here on Hodge Podge. Today on a Friday, we are very excited. We've got Kelly Blackledge with us from the Tamarac Wildlife Refuge, and we also got Kevin Zepper with us from MSUM, and we are excited. First off, Kelly, Kevin, thanks for being with us today on Hodge Podge.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah.
So I'm going to lead off with you, Kelly. We have our mobile app. It's called the Lakes Area Radio app. And that's kind of what we're talking about. Not kind of, it is what we're talking about today. I know you're very excited about this. So tell us about Wild Inspired.
Yes, it's feeling a little wilder out at Tamarac now because of Wild Inspired. But so we have, thanks to a team from MSUM, this really cool app that I think is going to change the way people visit the refuge. So I'm excited about having this available. And on this Sunday, we're going to really kick it off, and you'll get to meet the team and hopefully find some new ways to get inspired through nature.
So Kevin Zepper with us. Kevin, tell us a little about your involvement with the development of this app.
Well, it was sort of an idea that I had years ago for this particular project, and I started meeting people on campus and talking with Kelly at the refuge, and it started coming together. It was an idea of expressing oneself and getting people out to the refuge to create works of art and writing, and people got on board, and we were very fortunate to receive the grant from our Minnesota. It's a Minnesota Innovation Grant through our education system office, and it took off from there.
So I'll go to Kelly first if you want to go back to Kevin as well. So Kelly, tell us about some of the features of the app. What are people going to notice when they download this onto their smartphones?
Yeah. So one of the reasons that we wanted to do this is there are a lot of ways to enjoy the refuge, and we really wanted to have we really strive to invite people to the refuge that might not normally come to the refuge. That for a long time the refuge has been a popular hunting and fishing location, and some of the hiking and photography has grown. But there are lots of ways to use the refuge. And we really saw this through the pandemic when people were really heading out to wild places for respite. They were really looking for ways to find some solace and re-energize their, get healthy even. So, and that really, created this neat way to engage with people. We find often that people are really inspired by the nature around them, whether it's as tiny as an insect or tiny flower to, some of those large landscapes that you can see through the refuge. And that creates, that connection isn't always just visual, but it's also an emotional connection that's made. And that's really where creativity comes from. When you're inspired to do a really amazing writing or poem or artwork, or, a lot of people will take photos on the refuge and then bring it back home to inspire some watercolors that they might do and things like that. So we wanted to create a place for people to share these things, and not only share the inspiration that's happening, but also connect that to a map. As you know, Tamarac is 43,000 acres, and there's a lot of places you can go to be inspired. And there's often places that people regularly go, but there's some pretty neat places out there that are very inspiring. Behind me, is a scene from Two Island Lake. And I bet a lot of people haven't seen Two Island Lake, but it's open year round. It's open to fishing year round. It's really a really cool, beautiful spot. So these are some of the things that people are going to learn on Sunday is where are these crazy, beautiful places that I might not have visited before.
Now, I know that today's age of social media, folks love to share pictures of their kids, their sunsets, whatever animals while you're walking across their beach or in their backyards. So people have the ability, Kelly or Kevin, to upload photos and share with other people using the app?
Well, yes, not just photos though. This initially started exclusively as like a writing based project, and the app was focused that way. But as we began talking more about what we want to do with it, we thought, well, why don't we put in things like, well, somebody paints a picture and takes a picture of it after being inspired. Or we had a group of students from MSUM, from the music department, under the direction of Dr. Kenyon Williams in the music department, who actually composed music based on their experiences this last spring. And the work is done, and we're going to be uploading that material. So the idea is the sky's the limit. And it's not just about visual, it's also about the written word, music. Somebody might even make a sculpture of some kind based on what they've seen and the beauty out there, and take a photograph of that and say, this is what I was inspired by after being wild inspired at Tamarac. So there's a lot of possibilities available, I think.
Kevin, can you talk? Kelly touched on the map, so I'm just going to ask, is this like an interactive map? So you've got it on the app, you can open it up, and we'll have a little dot that says you are here in Tamarac National Wildlife. Is that basically how it'll work?
Well,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when you open up the map, app, then it'll take you to a map that will identify where you are on the refuge, or you can upload even later and direct the map to where you were on the refuge too. So you can do it, on site at the time, which is preferred, but also, later if you found you had some pretty cool things happen when you were on the refuge. And then enter your photo or information about, your writing and that kind of thing, and then submit that. And so then there's a place on the web you can go and see all the inspirations that have happened over, that people have uploaded. So it creates this kind of community of sharing through the app.
You know what it reminds me of, Kelly, because I'm taking off on vacation here next week and going up to a cabin up in northern Minnesota. And some of these resorts, they have the journals that sit on the kitchen tables, and they go back 15, 20 years. And as resorters, I think this is great because for us, it's a chance to come in and you talk about inspiration. Start paging back, 10, 15 years ago. The Smith family from Lake Park was here from June 5th to June 7th. And they talk about the weather and the fishing, how it was. And a lot of it, too, just sitting around the campfire with their family and friends and talking about the inspirational aspects of being outside and not in the big cities. I imagine a lot of folks are going to take advantage of this. Is there a version of these? Are these available? Is this available on both Google Play and the Apple App Store for both versions?
Yeah, so it's on the Apple Store right now. You can download, just search for Inspired or Wild Inspired. The app will come up, and then and it's in process for the Google apps or Android version as well. So that'll be available any day now.
We're going to take a short break here in Hodge Podge. When we come back, we're going to talk about this kickoff event, which is coming up on Sunday. Stay tuned. Back with more Hodge Podge on a Friday right after these.